Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today I thought that I would show you guys how to edit my all-time favorite thing, and that would be greens. So I picked this photo right here just because, as you can see, it's very green. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get from this to something like this. Now, my style of photography is usually pretty dark and pretty moody. Really just depends on how the day is that day that I went out and shot and all of that fun stuff. But for a pretty good base, usually I like to really decrease exposure and decrease highlights, for shadows, and the whites and all of that stuff. So typically where I like to start when I go through my photos is I will start with the point curve. So usually how I start is I put one point right in the middle, and then I'm pretty big on like adding some like fade to my photos, and so I will increase the fade just a little bit, not too much to where it's unbearable. A little point right here. I find a spot where I think it's okay. Do a little point up here, and then we will start this as the base. Now after this, I usually go up to my sliders, and as I said, I like to decrease my exposure quite a bit. Do that, and then I will go to my highlights, and then this is where like I probably mess with this the most. It just really depends. And then I absolutely crank down the shadows as much as they go, and then I crank down the whites as well. And then after I mess with these, I'll mess with the blacks a little bit, maybe bring back a little detail, and then I will mess with the contrast last. And since I want to be dark, we're gonna increase it by quite a bit. Probably, I would say we'll just start here for now. I think that's a good base. And then I never have purples in mine because I just don't like how they look at all. And then I will mess with the color, and I want them to be a little cool tone. So we'll chill like right there for now. Then I will come down to my color mixer. And then now, since these are greens, you of course want to be in the green tab. Now, usually I crank them back pretty decently. Usually I sit between minus 50 and minus 75 or so. So I guess for now we'll meet in the middle and go like minus 665. I might add a little orange tone. Not too crazy. And then the luminance, depending on how I want to do the set that I'm doing. Usually I will increase them a little bit, just to bring out that nice little like white glow. So we'll chill at like, we'll sit at like 10ish. And now I am pretty big on the color grading here. For my style and what I like it to do is I like to have my hues in the blues. So usually that will range between kind of like a mint to a deep blue. And then let's increase the blending and the balance to 100% so we don't get any weird colors. And then usually I will sit at about 20. I feel like that's like a good spot to, where there's a nice glow, but it's not too much. And then the luminance, I usually will mess with these. Like I said, I'm pretty big on the fading, that little fade look. So I think for now we'll chill like right here. I think that's good. Then the same thing here with the midtones. Since I like them dark, I will just crank it all the way down for now. And I usually don't mess with these colors all that much. I don't know. I haven't really found a good little spot yet. I definitely need to work on these a lot more. But I guess we'll do a little bit of that now. Like I said, I like to sit in the blues usually, but I don't want it too blue So we'll sit, for now, we'll sit right there. And we might come back to it. And highlights, you can decrease them or increase them. I think we'll add a little bit of a little bit more light. So I think we'll sit, I think right there is good. Now I'm pretty big on adding grain to my photos. I usually don't add them a lot. If I do, I usually sit between 10 and 20. I feel like that's the sweet spot to where it's pretty subtle and it's not too much where it's just going to really take away from the photo itself. But I think for this specific one, we will leave it at 0 because I do like the nice crisp, clear balance we have going. And then I'm pretty big too on the profiles. I urge people to not stick to a specific one. Like for example, just because you shot a portrait doesn't mean you have to stay in the portrait profile. Just because you shot a landscape doesn't mean you have to sit in the landscape profile. To really mess with these, each one really gives their own cool little like tone. But definitely play with these for sure. So I think for this one, we'll sit in the portrait because it adds a little bit more fade and darkens it a little bit more, but not too much to where it's unbearable. And then since we did add in a blue hue, in case you didn't know this, you can go back up to the color mixer and mess with the blue tone that you added as well, even though in the raw there was no blue. So be mindful of that. You can make some pretty cool stuff with that. Don't think I want to do too much. We'll maybe decrease the saturation a little bit. Let's say about there. Let's see, this can bring up the highlights a little bit more. And then as you can see, this will change the hue pretty drastically. I think we'll sit like halfway in between. So I do like the natural green. I think this is a pretty cool spot to sit at. As you can see, we went from a very bright, very exposed ferns to editing them to look like this. A very, very dark, moody tone. So remember, just because the photo that you took was bright does not mean that you can't get it to look how you want to. I hope I taught you something new, something that you can use in the future. And if I did teach you something new, let me know in the comments and let me know what it was that I helped you learn. And if you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Later.